What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. We have got you here an epic tier list. These heroes are how they would be fully skilled and fully awakened. Their uses, obviously you can see here that like B plus A3 or B plus A5, and then we've got A0, meaning that those heroes are only useful at that point, or at A0 that they're useful there and that they will improve as well. You can't see the top of the list just yet. It is quite long. There's a lot of heroes in here, but we wanted to try and make it as good as possible. There you go. As you can see here that the heroes are there. We'll get to them. We are going to talk about them. I need to thank Entei a huge amount as always. So thank you, Entei, for all the help and support you do provide to the Bulls community and to me as well. I mean, dealing with me is not an easy task, let me tell you. Okay, let me tell you that. So yeah, thank you, mate. It does mean a huge amount, and I don't say it enough. So we are going to talk about it. Now, the trash tier down here, as you can see, the only hero here that would be worth keeping out of this is for a fusion, okay? And that's Harpoon. He would only be useful for that. Everyone else here just doesn't have a use, okay? They don't have a use. They're not going to help you later on with content. It's as simple as that. Now, we do have here as well E. Lucas, Cuke, Decimus, and Autumn as keep. They are all very useful in their own rights, okay? Keep those, and you can use them throughout your account. I believe I have spoken about Decimus quite a bit before in the past. I've had videos of him shown in it, what he can do for your team with that Death Survive. Cuke with his poison. E. Lucas with his freeze was massive in Gear Aid 3. And Autumn, she can buff your allies, so she's very good at that. Now we're going to move up a little bit to the support Lord bonus, okay? Now what this tier here means is that we obviously have Ein. He is good for his Lord bonus for your team. But also we have Cyrene and Darlin here, who are like cost coin regenerators. Over a certain amount of time, they will recover the coins for allies, that kind of thing. If you have the likes of Venomer, etc., then that's going to help hugely. But this tier list here doesn't have any legends in it. This is imagining a world without legends. Okay, imagining a world without legends. So on to C tier. These heroes here, I'm not going to talk about the heroes in C tier. We're going to start talking about heroes from C tier above. Because these heroes here just don't excel. They don't excel enough in what they do. They're not a huge use for our account, even if they're maxed out A5, skilled and frigging geared. So really, I would advise against building them. Don't build them. They're not going to help you much. Maybe Jankar a little bit, but again, compared to many other heroes we have in our rosters, they're just not as good. Now, B plus, we do have my goodness, her name, Evelyn. We have Evelyn here at A3. You know, she needs A3 to be useful for our team as a tank, but compared to other tanks, she just doesn't shine at all. Okay, she's just not going to shine. There's so much better that you can use than Evelyn. So don't, you know, I mean, if she's the only thing you have, then yes, okay, you have to use it. However, you know, we do get Olag now from the Void Rift, so you shouldn't have any issues in that regard. Now, B plus, we have, of course, Gluttony, who's good on paper. He reads very well on paper, but he's not really viable. We have a Lily, who is a healer, but again, she is not exactly great. She may be good for single target healing, but currently in the game, she's not much of a use. We also have Wrath, who is very hard to use, and this is at A5, okay? He's just very, very hard to use. Moving up, we have in A, at A0, we have Daimon. You can deal some damage with a Lord, but he doesn't really excel even after his rework. We have Ardef, who is a tank with health scaling, but again, compared to the other tanks that we have in our arsenal, he's just not really cutting it. Raiden for his Lord bonus all day long. He's very good for his Lord bonus. Lightlock got a nerf. Yes, I know. We're all gutted about that. He doesn't really provide a huge amount for us anymore. He can still deal some damage and he can still provide some healing. But other than that, he's not really doing much. He's not really... I guess he was broken before, wasn't he? Let's be honest. Medan is very much a generic kind of AoE healer. Compared to the other healers that we do have access to, again, she doesn't excel. She doesn't excel. So if we move up just a little bit, there we go, to A plus, A3. heroes start to get much more useful. We have I. I can be useful. Okay, I can be useful. A1, she increases crystal bomb damage by 50%, and at A3, her bombs affect 2 more targets. But although she can deal massive damage to multiple enemies in a map, it's very hard to use her because she's not consistent. We can't choose where you place her bombs. It's randomly placed in her range, okay? So you would need to say, find a map, find a little crevice where you can say, right, they're coming from there. I want her to really spread them out there. But she's hard to use, but she can deal good damage. You don't rule I out. We have Komodo next to I. Komodo here. His A3 grants him his Blood Liquor attack grants him an extra 50% crit damage to targets inflicted with bleed. Why is that so good? Because he also deals bleed 100% of the time whilst ultimate is on, and that lasts for 40 seconds. So at A3, Blood Liquor gets an extra 50% crit damage to the target inflicted with bleed, and again, his ultimate lasts for 40 seconds, meaning every single attack that he does is going to land a bleed. So in that sense, he can be very useful, especially if you're limited on heroes to use, putting him in at A+. We have Brienne next to him, the marksman. Awaken 1, she gets a physical penetration increase. I think it's 30%. Awaken 3, she gets split damage increase, split shot damage increase. And Brienne can really deal a very large amount of damage in an instant period. So she's just going to rapidly shoot out in AoE against those enemies that are in range. If you need to clear them fast, then Brienne can be an option for that. After that, we have Nisande. I really like Nisande. And at Awaken 3, when on the field, she grants increased attack speed to all allies, just for being on the field, okay? But Nisande is also a healer. So a healing bounce is very good, especially for extended range healing, because if she can heal an ally next to her, then that's going to bounce to heroes out of range, which can also be massive. As well as that, her ultimate also does grant heroes in range attack speed boost as well, so she is very good. And don't forget, she does get that increased range from a Lord bonus, such as Lunaria or Arica. So if you have those, you really do want to be putting Nisande into action. Moving up to A+, A5. Oh, I don't need to move this about anymore. That's nice. We can just stick around at this. A+, A5, we have Theowin, Mariel, and Livian. And this is interesting, okay? Theowin, of course, at A5, it grants him a massive range increase to Blade Hurl. He regains rage, and he can apply slow very nicely. So if you do have a team for Lord of the Cultists, and you don't have someone to slow, I know we have Mari, but if you don't have Mari built up and you need someone to slow, he can provide that slow for your team so that you can take advantage of that 15% extra increase from a Lord of the Cultist Lord. So that, in that sense, can be nice. He also does deal some good damage, and he does sit here at A+. I think that's deserved. Mariel, who is next to Theowin here, we are on A+, A5. I'm just trying to remind you with the mouse cursor for those that are a bit like, well, who's that? Mariel here. She's a main tank with main defense scaling. At Awaken 5, she can heal allies as well, okay? There's not many tanks that can heal allies. She can do that. And on ultimate, she can also trigger a heal for all allies for 25% health, which is actually very nice. She also heals the nearest ally in range up to 60%. So Mariel, although many shy away from her, she does have some very nice uses. If you paired her up next to a Vortex, and then had one healer, one fighter or one tank next to her, she could potentially, or I'd say one fighter, not healer, one fighter, or even a ranged on a tile next to her. She's going to help keep them alive. Okay, so Livian can stun enemies with shield bounce for 3 seconds every 3 attacks, which grants heals and stuns extra targets on bounce too. I think it goes up to an extra 3 targets her bouncing on that stun. Awaken 5, she gets an initial rage of plus 700, and she's also got a permanent ultimate, which grants her 30% physical damage reduction. That's huge, meaning that she can actually tank quite well. So don't rule out Livian. It's very easy to get outshined by other tanks, but she is a good tank, especially at A5, okay, because she's always in that permanent ultimate status. And moving up Moving up after Livian here, we have Baron in at S tier as a 0. And Baron, I really like Baron myself. I've used him a lot. You all know I've used Baron a lot. He's a great tank, shielding immune to damage for 8 seconds when skilled. And with Awaken 3, becomes immune for 11 seconds. He is a good tank. You know, he can self-shield. Immunity for 11 seconds at A3, 8 seconds before that. His A5 isn't massive, however. He can be healed up between his immunity. So, you know, he is a very, very strong tank. But still, compared to an Olag, it's very tough to rate him higher. Moving up to S in A1, we come in with Imani. A1 means that she won't enter her weakness state, because she does enter a weakness state after her ultimate. Can deal good damage, especially paired with Pyros. Obviously, Pyros is the epic lord for Infernals. Instant burst damage, because when she comes into battle, she's actually very near. She's very near her actual ultimate itself. She can do a huge amount of damage with it. And at A3, you get a major resurrection cooldown. So it may be at some point we start to move Imani around the map, because it's a 25-second less rage resurrection cooldown on her, which is very nice. So she can do a good amount of damage, and it is pretty instant because, like I said, her rage cost is nearly full already. Next to Imani, we have Estrid. I'm just going to move that over there a second so I've got a better view. We have Estrid, and Estrid again, she is a good hero. A1 grants 1 extra tile range attack, so she's a fighter. She's not going to be hitting 1 tile ahead, she's also going to be hitting 2 tiles ahead now, meaning she can be placed behind, say, a defender or a tank, whatever you want to call them, and she can be very, very useful. Defense reduction on basic hit is very viable against enemies of high defense, like Guild Boss, like Artifact Raid, so using her there can be very good. She also has an ultimate, which does very good damage with AoE, so she can hit in an AoE radius, and it can be doing quite nice damage. So she does sit there because she has got that 2-tile range at A1. She's safe behind a tank, and with that defense reduction, that can be very, very viable. Isolde, who is... Jesus, what did I do there? What did I just do? Isolde here, who is a very good tank. She is a Lord as well, so don't forget her Lord bonus. So A1, she gets a massive shield of max health combined all allies. Okay, so she gets 8% of max health from all allies on the field for herself as a shield. She also gives physical damage reduction and magical damage reduction to all allies. The Lord bonus as well, and periodic granting of shield to allies. I believe that's every 30 seconds. Isolde is a very good tank, but that Lord bonus as well is very, very useful, as well as the shield that she gets and the physical magical damage reduction to all allies. So yeah, Isolde definitely sits in here at S. Moving up to S+. A3 is where these heroes become useful. We have Aona to start with. Now, Aona is a very good mage. She, at A3, I mean, she's only a 17 cost, okay? So, Aona, 17 cost. She can apply slow to the enemies, which enables extra damage if you have a Lord and the Cultists there. So, if you have one of the Lords from the Cultists. What's the exact Lords from the Cultists at the moment? We have Ion. My goodness. Ion and Morrigan, isn't it? Is Raiden Lord of the Cultist? The Cursed Cult, sorry. Yeah, okay, so we have Nero, Morrigan, and Ion. So if you have any of those, you really do want to be causing CC. You really want to be causing... In CC, I mean, that can be stun, that can be slow, that can be freeze. Anything like that. So, Aona does cause slow, and which means she could be getting a ton more damage, 15% from the lowest Lord. She can cause great AoE damage at A3 because it grants her an extra 50% increased damage on Starburst. And don't forget A1, you will be doing Starburst every single hit on her ultimate. So that can really push your damage on. And again, that slow does really help if you have a Lord from Lord of Cult. Lunaria, who is next to Aona. She's a marksman. She's very good. She is a Lord, so you're going to get the stat boost from that. At A3, it increases the chance of Dark Moon Arrow, which enables you an extra 10% to trigger it, which then can give you more rage regeneration. So that means that we're going with the rage regeneration, constant use, meaning she can deal more high burst damage because she's going to be coming in and out of her ultimates faster, just making her much more viable. So at A3, Lunaria is super strong because we're going to be dealing consistent damage with her, triggering that ultimate thanks to the increase of that triggering. If we move on up now to S plus A5, we have Maul and we have Wrath. And Maul, okay, Maul. I wouldn't use Maul if he was any less than A5, okay? And this is because we get the cost reduction of 5 on him at A5, meaning he's much cheaper to use. And if you don't have another AoE damage dealer in Marksman like him with the range, then you're going to really struggle, especially in Gear Aid 3. So in that sense, he does sit at S plus in A5 territory. Because he is the only one who can do that. He can be replaced by other heroes, legends that is. But if you don't have those, then you will need to use Maul. So he does sit at S plus at A5 alongside Wrath, who can do very good damage. He is also self-sustaining. He gets a great Lord bonus. And he's also free for all of us on login. I think it's 7 days. So having Wrath as well is huge for your account. And he is very much worth building. He is S+. And that Lord bonus is very good. Now moving up a little bit, we have come into the SS range. The SS range with buff and debuff Lord bonus. We have Ion here first. Lord bonus is, what was that just happened? Connect network. Oh my goodness, never mind. Ignore that. Ignore that. Try again. Something going on there, but it's fine. It's in the video. It's all good. Ion. So the Lord bonus we get from her. She can, the Lord bonus is the most important thing for her. Okay. She doesn't really do a lot else because she does slow. She also does cause magic vulnerability, but she doesn't deal much damage at all. Okay, so you're not going to get a lot of damage out of Ion, not at all. But that Lord bonus is huge for her, for your other allies, as well as the slow can be useful and the magic vulnerability as well. But other than that, she doesn't do a lot. She doesn't do a lot. We have Pyros, who again is the Infernal Lord, and he is very, very useful. His Lord bonus is very good. His ultimate is very good as well because it gives you vulnerability to physical and magic damage. It also grants Focus Fire on ultimate, which can deal massive damage. What happens is the allies of Infernal join together for a Focus Fire attack, thanks to using Pyros, and that can deal really, really, really big damage. We do have Greed here at SS, okay? Now, unfortunately, haven't had a chance to test Greed's damage, so I can't comment on his damage. However, what we can comment on is his ability to slow and the amount of enemies he can slow, which is massive because it enables that bonus for Lord of Cult. Also reduces magic damage resistance, which is massive as well. He is a very cool hero, and I wish I had him because we would put him to use. Just can't comment on his damage. Okay, I'm not saying he can't deal damage. I'm not saying he can deal damage. This is just where it sits at the moment because I haven't tested it. If you can't test it, we can't comment on it. Okay, it's all right me saying throwing things out there, but if you haven't tested it, then what good is that? Laurel is you know, we've shown Laurel before on a showcase with that 50% rage boost to allies when dismissed. She is massive for that. You can really put together some really nice combos for pushing on the rage regeneration with Laurel. We do have Mari, who we don't hear people talk about enough. This is black-haired Mari. This isn't white-haired Mari. But she is a great crowd control. She also means that the amount that she does crowd control, she can really enable the Lord bonuses in Lord of Cultists for that extra damage. So Mari, again, she's just so good at crowd control. If you're not using Mari, that freeze, that slow, it's just so good. So Mari definitely deserves to be in an SS. Moving up to SS at A0, we do have Olag. Of course we have Olag because straight away he's just fantastic as a tank. He gets massive shields. He's an immovable object. He hardly ever dies if he's geared right. And he's just the best epic tank that we have in the game currently. And he gets better at A1. Along with Vortex, who is an amazing healer, even at A0, okay? He only gets better with Awakens again. But at A0, he is just a fantastic healer. He will keep getting better as well, like I said. But definitely, if you have Vortex, build them up. Same as Olag, you know, all of these heroes in here, if you have them, then you're definitely going to want to build them up. We have SSA1, Dolores. You all know about Dolores, but at A1, she gets a 20% increase to inspiration, which is massive for your allies. So definitely, as soon as you can, make her A1. She is going to buff your allies' attack so much. SSA2, we do have Toriel. She is a great marksman. We've showcased her enough as well. A1, she gets an increase to basic attack as a percentage, and at A2, she gets a 200 base stat increase to her attack, meaning we can really scale our attack with Idril more. My God, they changed her name, didn't they? I'm going to keep calling her Toriel, but she is actually called Idril now. If you're like, well, hang on a minute. She isn't, I can't find Toriel. If you are new to the game, you won't be able to find Toriel anymore because she's called Idril, and I'm still mad about that. Still mad about that, but it is what it is. She has a huge range. Once popping her ultimate, she's going to hit every freaking enemy on the map, or once at a time, of course, just to kill them. Yeah, but she does have a very, very nice kit. So Toriel definitely deserving SS. And the two last but not least, we have a SS at A5. We have Hollow, the great healer. She is like your epic version of Eloin. That's the best way to put it. She's a great healer. She has great rage generation for allies, which is massive, in range every second. And at A1, she gets a rage generation on heal. A3, she gets a rage cap reduction. And at A5, she gets a massive rage generation boost, which I think is 15% accumulation. But granting all of our allies in range, that huge rage regeneration is just massive. So if you have Hollow at A5, she's so freaking good. You must be using her. And we also have Deimos or Deimos, the wolfy wolf, who, you know, if you have him at A5 again, before A5, he's not gonna be up there. Okay, A5 is massive because when tearing reaches full stacks, attacks ignore 15% of target's defense. Now, what does that mean? Bosses like the guild boss who have massive defense, if he's ignoring that, he can deal seriously good damage. He's also healing. He's also, you know, he's very self-sustaining is Deimos. But he is a great hero, especially landing there in SS. So that is it for this tier list. And I hope you can manage to keep with me. I hope it's helped you to some degree decide if you want to use that hero or not. This list will be put into the description below, so that you can access it much easier rather than coming back here and listening to me blabber on. But if you do want to hear about each hero discussed and why they are where they are, then of course you will need to listen to the video and me ramble on. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see all of you in the next video, and I want to say thank you to Entei again. Have a fantastic day even wherever you are. Goodbye. Take care.